How's it growing, friends? Scott back with you today. Welcome to Grow Your Victory. And I am pretty excited. As you can see, I have 4 raised beds here that are ready to go. We just loaded them with fresh compost. We're going to dress them with a little bit of blood and bone. And I cannot wait to plant carrots and cabbage and lettuce in these beds. But before I can do that, I have a bit of a problem. See, we have a pest exclusion situation going on here. And you may be asking yourself, Scott, those beds are 30 inches tall. Do you have giant rabbits, woodchucks of unusual size, deer in the middle of town? No, friends, none of those are the issue. The problem with this bed is our own sweet puppy Lily, the little beagle that you saw in episode 1. See, Lily has figured out at a very young age that all she has to do to go visit the neighbor dog is to bounce herself from the ground up on top of these raised beds and then bounce right over the fence, and she's a free dog. So, before I can do any planting or cover these with mulch or anything else, I need to install chicken wire around the perimeter so that Lily can neither jump up on top of the beds or jump out into the neighbor's driveway. So that's our quick little project for this afternoon. Let's grow. Okay, gang, as you can see here, what we have are these 4-foot tall, cheap, flimsy T-posts. We have some roll of 36-inch chicken wire. What I'm going to do is attempt to wrap that chicken wire around the east side, along the back on the south there, and then along the west side of our beds. Attach it to the T-post via those hangers, and then I'm going to run one solid sheet across the front here so that we can unhook it, have access to our gardens to do the things we need to do, and then hook it back up and keep Lily out. And I'm going to attempt to do all this without bleeding too much, and that's a task when dealing with chicken wire. Okay, friends, well, we've got the chicken wire strung around the back. Let me tell you, it was a nightmare. I do not like working with this stuff. We'll see if we can get close enough to where you can see what's going on, but we've got her attached to the T-posts and bent over the top all the way around the 2 sides in the back. Now, ideally, that's enough to keep her from jumping out of the yard. But the problem is, I don't want her jumping up on my beds and digging up my veg while she's talking to the neighbor's dog. So I'm going to go across the front here as well. Hopefully it's not too much of a pain in the butt come weeding time, but I want to keep her out of that so that she's not constantly disrupting carrots and stuff like that that are pretty fragile. Alrighty, gang. Well, as you can see, we've got our beds good and finished. We've got our compost spread out nice. Our next step here today is going to be to mulch these beds on top of the compost, and then we are going to plant some carrot seeds. The other things I want to put in these beds are cabbage and lettuce. We're going to start those in seed starters and bring them out here in a couple of weeks when they're ready to go and transplant them into the garden. So that's the next step, is to mulch this, and let's go. Well, alrighty gang, we're back and we've got our chicken wire fully run all the way around these raised beds. You can see we're across the front here, one side to the other. These are just hooked on here at the end posts. Those can be pulled down to give us access so that we can plant, mulch, weed, do the things we need to do. The back is a continuous piece that wraps around the back three sides, like we said, and that should be enough to keep the adventure beagle in the yard. My takeaway from this exercise is that I hate working with chicken wire just as much now as I always have, and boy is that stuff a pain in the butt. But if it makes it so that we can let Lily run around in the yard and be secure and not have to worry about her getting out, then it's worth it. And I'm not even really bleeding that much. So till next time, remember to grow your victory. If you don't mind, go ahead and like the video if you like it, and subscribe to the channel if you feel like it. We appreciate the support. Take care.